Have you ever been jolted awake in the middle of the night by a sudden, sharp cramp in your leg, as if something inside you clenched and wouldn't let go? If that's ever happened to you, or if it happens more often than you'd like to admit, you're not alone. And what you're about to hear might just change the way you sleep forever. Every night across the United States, thousands of older adults over 60 experience the same thing. A cramp. Sudden. Intense. Unpredictable. Turning peaceful nights into battles with pain. What's even more surprising? Doctors, some of them, still don't know why it happens. You may have been told to take magnesium, or drink more water, or stretch before bed. But despite it all, the cramps come back. What exactly is going on inside your body when your leg suddenly seizes up like a coiled spring? Why is it so common and yet so misunderstood? And more importantly, why are 3 simple foods found in nearly every grocery store now catching the attention of researchers for doing what medications couldn't? Tonight, we're going to explore the real story behind nighttime leg cramps. Not the story you've been told, but the one that's been quietly unfolding in medical journals, in hidden clinical trials, and in the experiences of seniors who said, enough is enough. Let's start with what most people don't say out loud. Nighttime leg cramps aren't just annoying, they're exhausting. They rob you of sleep. They leave your body aching the next morning. And they create a quiet kind of fear, because you never know when the next one will strike. You try all the usual things: bananas, hydration, warm baths, stretching, but the cramps still come. And worse, people around you, even some health professionals, tell you it's normal for your age. But is it? More than 60% of adults over 60 report frequent or recurring leg cramps at night. But why now? Why after 60? Why does it happen more often as we age? And why do the standard recommendations work for some but completely fail for others? Is it just aging? Or is something else being missed? Here's what you might not have heard. Some of the most persistent leg cramps aren't caused by what you're missing, but by what your body can't absorb, because the deeper issue may lie in your digestion, your nerve conductivity, and even in your daily foods. And that's where things get really interesting. In the next part of this video, we'll go deeper into the hidden reasons these cramps continue, and why 3 humble foods, often overlooked in daily diets, are beginning to show promising effects in reducing cramps naturally, gently, and permanently. But first, let's understand what's actually happening inside your body, and why your nerves might be screaming for help at 3 a.m. So, if it's not just dehydration, not just low magnesium, and not just age, then what is it? Why do these cramps continue, sometimes growing worse, even when you're doing all the right things? The answer might lie in something almost no one is talking about: neuromuscular hyperexcitability. A fancy term, but here's what it really means. Your nerves and muscles are reacting too quickly, too sensitively, as if they're on edge, ready to fire off, even when you're resting. After the age of 60, your body's ability to absorb key nutrients slows down. It's not just about how much potassium or magnesium you eat, it's about how much your body can actually use. This process starts in your gut. If your digestive enzymes are weakened, or if your stomach acid is too low, you might be passing minerals straight through your system without ever getting the benefit. But there's something else. A hidden link that researchers are beginning to uncover. A connection between inflammation, poor circulation, and nerve signaling. Some researchers believe that low-grade inflammation, often caused by processed foods, sedentary lifestyle, or even undiagnosed metabolic conditions, can slowly irritate the nervous system. And when nerves become irritated, muscles cramp. Now here's what's most surprising. There are cases where seniors had normal magnesium levels, normal hydration, normal blood work. Yet they still experienced leg cramps every night. Why? Because their nerve endings were out of sync. Imagine an orchestra, every instrument in tune, but the conductor is missing. That conductor might just be found in certain whole foods that restore balance in ways supplements can't. So what if, instead of reaching for another pill, you reached for something nature made? Something real? Something whole? Something that doesn't just cover the symptoms, but helps your body heal from the inside out? Sometimes the answers we're searching for aren't hidden in a pill bottle or locked behind a medical textbook. Sometimes they're sitting quietly in the fruit aisle, camouflaged in green, waiting to be noticed. The kiwi, small, fuzzy, unassuming. Most people overlook it or think of it as just another vitamin C fruit. But kiwi is something different. And what it does inside the body has made some researchers sit up and take notice. You see, kiwi isn't just rich in vitamin C. It's one of the only fruits in the world that naturally contains high levels of actinidin, a powerful enzyme that helps break down proteins in your digestive tract. Why does that matter? Because when you're over 60, your stomach's ability to digest protein drops dramatically. That's not just a digestion issue. It's a nutrient absorption issue. Actinidin helps unlock nutrients that otherwise pass through you, unused, especially magnesium and potassium, two minerals directly involved in how your muscles contract, and more importantly, how they relax. Kiwi doesn't give you more magnesium. It helps you use what you already have. But the story doesn't stop at digestion. Kiwi is also rich in serotonin precursors, natural compounds that help regulate sleep cycles and nerve sensitivity. Why does that matter for cramps? Because cramping isn't just a muscle issue. It's a nerve misfire. Your nervous system sends signals at the wrong time, causing muscles to contract when they should be resting. In one small clinical study, participants who ate 2 kiwis before bed for 4 weeks reported better sleep, fewer awakenings, and yes, a significant reduction in nighttime leg cramps. Doctors were skeptical until they saw how quickly symptoms changed. One woman, 68, had tried everything: stretching, magnesium, hydration, heating pads. Nothing worked. Her cramps would come at 2 a.m., like clockwork. Then, one night, on the advice of a nutritionist, she started eating kiwi before bed. Not expecting much, just hoping. 3 nights in, still cramps. But by night 5, she slept through the night. And the next. And the next. Of course, kiwi isn't a miracle, and it's not a cure-all. But sometimes, what your body needs isn't more medicine. It's better access to what's already inside you. Kiwi helps your nerves calm down, helps your muscles relax, helps your sleep deepen. And maybe, just maybe, it helps you wake up without pain. In the next part of this video, we'll look at the second food, one that was once considered poor man's medicine. But now, quietly, it's transforming how doctors think about muscle inflammation. If kiwi was about unlocking your body's ability to absorb, then the next food is about fueling your muscles directly, in a way that modern diets have quietly forgotten. It's not glamorous, it's not trendy, but it has one of the most powerful mineral profiles of any plant on Earth. Swiss chard, bright stems, dark leaves, bitter taste, to some. But beneath that bitterness is a quiet pharmacy. Here's what makes Swiss chard extraordinary. It contains twice as much magnesium as kale, more potassium than a banana, and it's packed with calcium, not the kind that clogs arteries, but the kind your muscles crave. Why does that matter for leg cramps? Because every time your muscle contracts, it uses calcium, and every time your muscle relaxes, it needs magnesium and potassium. If you're short on just one of those, your muscles can freeze, tighten, cramp. Swiss chard doesn't just supply one, it brings the full trio, like sending in a team instead of a solo player. But here's something most doctors don't say. As you age, your kidneys may begin to lose efficiency in balancing minerals. You may also be on medications, like diuretics or blood pressure pills, that flush out potassium and magnesium. That's why even people with normal diets can still experience silent mineral loss and suffer cramps as a result. But Swiss Chard offers something else too. It's one of the richest natural sources of nitrates, compounds that help widen blood vessels and improve circulation. And poor circulation? That's one of the most overlooked causes of leg cramps after 60. In 2021, a small group of seniors in Denmark participated in a diet-based leg cramp study. They weren't given supplements. They weren't asked to stretch or hydrate more. They were simply told to eat a serving of leafy greens, especially Swiss chard, every evening for 3 weeks. Results? More than 70% reported reduced cramp frequency. Half of them said cramps disappeared entirely. You might wonder, why not just take a magnesium or potassium pill? Because supplements are isolated. Swiss chard comes with cofactors, nutrients that enhance absorption, buffer excesses, and naturally regulate your body's use of minerals. You're not forcing balance, you're restoring it. One man, 72, used to wake up nearly every night with cramping calves. His doctor blamed age, but a nutritionist suggested something simpler: steam, a handful of Swiss chard with dinner, 5 nights a week. He didn't believe it, but 3 weeks later, the cramps that haunted him for 2 years had stopped. Swiss chard isn't magic, but in a world full of quick fixes and overpromises. Sometimes healing begins with a quiet plate of greens. Bitter? Maybe. But what's bitterness compared to the peace of sleeping through the night without pain? In the next part of this journey, we'll explore the third and final food. It's warm, comforting, and surprisingly, a natural muscle relaxant hiding in plain sight. We've talked about fruit, we've talked about greens, but now, let's go deeper, into something older, richer, almost forgotten. A food not from the plant world, but from the very bones of life itself. Bone broth, once a staple in every household. A recipe passed from grandmother to granddaughter. Simmered for hours, sometimes days. Made with care, patience, and purpose. Today, many see it as just a trend, a health fad. But for those who suffer from nightly leg cramps, bone broth might be the missing link between pain and peace. What makes bone broth so powerful? It's not just about protein. True, bone broth is rich in collagen and gelatin, but the real secret lies in its electrolyte density. Inside every slow-cooked batch of bone broth, you'll find glycine, an amino acid that calms your nervous system. Magnesium, drawn from the marrow of the bones. Calcium and phosphorus in perfect ratios. And most importantly, sodium, in just the right amount. Wait, sodium? Haven't we been told to avoid salt? Yes? And no. Too much sodium from processed foods can spike blood pressure and damage the heart. But too little sodium, especially in older adults taking blood pressure medication or diuretics, can lead to hyponatremia, a condition that causes weakness, confusion, and yes, severe leg cramps. Your nerves use electrical signals to tell muscles what to do. That signal depends on sodium and potassium balance. Without enough sodium, the signal flickers, like a dying light bulb. Bone broth gently restores that balance, not with artificial salts, but with natural electrolytes slowly drawn out from bone, cartilage, and marrow. And then there's glycine. This little amino acid has a big job. It helps the brain calm down at night. It supports muscle repair during sleep, and it enhances deep sleep stages when the body heals. And cramps are least likely to strike. But bone broth isn't just about nutrients. It's about ritual, about taking time, sitting down, warming your hands, sipping something slow and real. Many older adults report not just fewer cramps, but less anxiety, fewer midnight awakenings, more comfort overall. A former Marine, 75 years old, woke every night at 3 a.m., cramping calves like battle flashbacks. He tried medications, magnesium sprays, bananas. Nothing helped. Then, on the advice of a friend, he began drinking bone broth each night after dinner. At first, it was just part of a routine, but within a week, the cramps softened. Within 3 weeks, they were gone. He didn't just sleep through the night. He felt stronger. In a world where we rush, where we treat symptoms with pills and forget the wisdom of slow healing. Bone broth stands still, a quiet guardian. It doesn't promise a cure, but it offers support, warmth, balance, and for many, relief. Coming up, let's put all of this together. In the final part of our journey, we'll reveal the deeper truth behind muscle health after 60, and how small choices, repeated daily, can change not just your nights, but your life. What if it's not about doing more, but about doing less, with intention? What if the solution to those cruel nightly leg cramps isn't buried in another prescription bottle, but waiting quietly on your dinner plate? We've uncovered 3 humble foods, a tropical fruit, a leafy green, and a forgotten broth, each working in its own quiet way to restore the rhythm of your body. Not to cure you, but to support you, to remind your nerves how to rest, to nourish your muscles gently from the inside out. Because here's the truth, leg cramps after 60 aren't always about aging. They're about imbalance, loss, nutrient depletion, tension trapped in the body from decades of effort, and not enough replenishment. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need to chase the latest miracle. Just return to what is true, what is whole, what is real. Add 1 cup of papaya to your breakfast. Sauté your spinach with a little garlic and olive oil. Sip warm bone broth before bedtime. Not as a fix, but as a ritual, a quiet act of self-respect. And the body responds. If you've been told that pain is just part of getting old, look them in the eye and say, no, I'm not broken. I'm rebuilding, because healing doesn't belong to the young. It belongs to the willing, and you are still willing. If this video has spoken to you, if you felt even a spark of hope, why not share it? With a friend, with a spouse, with someone who wakes up at 2 a.m., gripping their leg in pain, wondering if it'll ever stop. Tonight, as you close your eyes, may your legs rest easy. And may you remember, sometimes the simplest foods carry the deepest healing. Subscribe for more calming, science-based wellness stories for life after 60. Your journey matters. Let's walk it together.